The following program contains integrated descriptive video and closed captioning.
Greetings, I'm Rob Simpson.
And I'm Mark DeMontis.
And this is the Courage Hockey Show. What are we talking about, Demo?
We will be discovering a world of hockey for all abilities, whether it's para, sledge, deaf, blind, amputee, special, and more.
I'm standing at the right goal post. Demo's at the left goal post here at the Scotiabank Pond outside of Toronto. Our special guest for edition 1 is Dave Andrews, former longtime president of the American Hockey League and the board chair of the Hockey Canada Foundation. It is the Courage Hockey Show presented by the Hockey News and Sports Illustrated, and it begins right now. Courage Hockey, inspiring, innovative, inclusive. From blind or deaf hockey to sledge para hockey, disabled hockey in all its forms, whether it's on the ice or in the gym. Where imagination becomes reality. This is Courage Hockey. Let's get this started. Mark DeMontis, you're kind of the inspiration behind this whole thing, Courage Hockey. And you did some monumental stuff about a decade ago.
Did a simmer, as you know, after losing my sight at age 17, looking to go play hockey pro. Unfortunately, that NHL dream was derailed due to sudden sight loss. And ever since then, been giving back to the game. At age 22, I decided to strap on a pair of skates, rollerblade 5,000 kilometers, 5 provinces from Toronto to Vancouver to raise funds and awareness for blind hockey programs across the country. Since then, that story on that first skate, the blind hockey journey has not stopped. So it's quite something there.
Yeah, it sure is. And of course, later you ended up going from Halifax to Toronto just to kind of complete the whole thing. But this right now is what we're calling the DeMontis Diary. And it's a quick look at Toronto to Vancouver in 2009. Driving from Toronto to Vancouver is 4,400 kilometers, and if you wind your way, it's closer to 5,000 K. How about doing that trip on inline skates? Mark DeMontis did just that. He left Weston Lions Arena on Saturday, June 27, 2009, on his quest to the West to raise awareness and funds for Courage Canada to start hockey programs for Canadians who are blind or partially sighted. The first few days were modest skating efforts, a trip around what is called the Golden Horseshoe, the sprawling area of communities wrapped around the western end of Lake Ontario. Heading west and southwest, DeMontis took in Port Credit, Burlington, and then Brantford, the hometown of the great one, Wayne Gretzky. Canada Day was spent with crowds at a Brantford park. From there, he looped through London, Woodstock, and then Guelph, and then took a turn to the north. Local Lions clubs, hotels, law enforcement, fans, friends, and family were all there along the way to make sure DeMontis was supported. But the road would get a bit more lonely. On July 5th, a 90-kilometer skate and a legitimate departure from southern Ontario on July 6th. Through blisters, soreness, long, hot, sunny days, around the beautiful hills and shores of Lake Superior, DeMontis arrived in Sault Ste. Marie on July 18th. Rain took over, thunderstorms at times during the week getting west to Thunder Bay. More media responsibilities, more hospitality, and of course an appreciation for the great Terry Fox and his cancer-fighting 1980 Marathon of Hope that came to an end outside of this city. DeMontis paid homage at Fox's memorial and statue on August 1st. Leaving from that spot the next morning, he made his way toward Manitoba, reaching the next province west on August 12th at 7:52 p.m. Exactly 2 weeks later, after a 66-kilometer skate on August 26th, DeMontis crossed into Saskatchewan. On September 11th, Alberta. 9 days later, into the city of Calgary, and then ahead to the looming Rocky Mountains. DeMontis journaled, "There are very few opportunities on this trip when I get to just clear my mind of everything that's going on and simply enjoy what's around me." He took that opportunity at Lake Louise near Banff. On September 25th, he crossed into the final province, British Columbia. 2 days later, September 27th, marked 3 months of skating. 20 days remained if things went according to schedule, and they did. On October 16th, on the rainy streets of Vancouver, DeMontis crossed the finish line on 30th Avenue in front of the Riley Park Community Center, sopping wet, met by his family. DeMontis said, "Courage Canada is about being able to wake up in the morning and get excited about stepping onto the ice, engaging in the sport of blind hockey, and being a part of a team, and, in this sense, the journey is not over." Mark, we've gone from the net to the bench, and that's because we're about to do something fabulous
And
here.
you struggled. What's up with your blades? You said they got rust on them?
They need sharpening. They're like butter knives right now. It's
Those
tough.
things look like they belong in the Hockey Hall of Fame. That's what they look like.
Pretty much. I'll tell you one guy that's going to be in the Hockey Hall of Fame, Dave Andrews. 26 years the president of the American Hockey League and a board member with the Hockey Canada Foundation. And we welcome him right now, Dave Andrews. Dave, always a pleasure. How are you? Where are you?
I'm in Nova Scotia, doing well, and being thankful to be in an area with a very low rate of COVID at the moment. So we're feeling pretty lucky.
Hey, 26 years as the president of the American Hockey League. You turned that over to Scott Housen. We're going to get into your other responsibilities in a second here, but how's that retirement part going?
Well, it's been, to be candid, it's been semi-retirement up until the end of December. We've been pretty busy trying to help the American Hockey League in its return to play strategies. I chaired a group with a number of NHL general managers and some of the AHL team presidents that kind of laid the groundwork for a return to play. And we kind of finished that task at the end of December. And now I'm feeling quite a bit more retired than I was before. But things are going under the circumstances very well. And Scott's doing a good job. And I work with him pretty much every day. And so, yeah, things are good.
Dave, I don't know where you find the time. You're also sitting on the executive of the Hockey Canada Foundation. A lot of great work happening there. What brought you over there? And tell me a little bit about how you're giving back to the game right now on the foundation side of things.
Well, I've served on the foundation for a lot of years at this point. I'm not sure how many, probably 10 or 12 or perhaps more than that. And Bob Nicholson, the former president of Hockey Canada, is an old friend of mine that I worked with years ago. And he and Mark Chipman, the owner of the Jets, who was a member of the foundation, sort of coerced me into joining the group and have been part of it for a long time. As I said, I've been the chairman of the foundation for the past year, which has been a challenging year for all of us, of course, but happy to do it, happy to try to give back to the game in some way. And the foundation is a really unique way to do that and, as a vehicle for Hockey Canada.
This program is also viewed in the United States, and one of the things that's impressed us while Mark and I were cruising around shooting disabled sports a few years ago was the U.S. Disabled Hockey Festival. It's pretty impressive. I don't think Hockey Canada at this point has a match for that, but I know efforts are underway. Just talk a little bit about accessibility to and inclusiveness for Hockey Canada and the Hockey Canada Foundation moving ahead.
Well, I think inclusivity has become incredibly important, particularly under Tom Rennie's leadership as the president of Hockey Canada, the CEO of Hockey Canada, with Scott Smith's support. Over the past number of years through the foundation, I think we've really been focusing on the idea of the value that sport brings to developing citizens and developing communities. And if we believe in that idea, and I personally believe strongly in it, and particularly in a team sports setting, creating inclusivity and building inclusivity, removing barriers to the game for everyone is really important. And that includes, people who are disabled. It includes financially challenged families, particularly during this period of COVID. It includes the Black population, Indigenous populations, underserved women in sport. We are really actively engaged in trying to generate funds that will help Hockey Canada to accomplish those goals. And for me, it's all about strengthening our community, strengthening our young people, and that includes everyone. And so where the barriers are strongest are obviously those who have disabilities and those who don't have the sort of entry points to our game. And I mean, hockey is not the only sport that can serve those needs, but certainly it's the one in Canada that has is the most popular. And I think the more we can engage more kids and more people in the game, the better it'll be for our country.
You talked about being a young person, Dave. I've had the pleasure of being on the Long Pond with Simmer. We survived it. I'm learning a lot about the story of King's College and some of your roots there as well.
In Windsor, Nova Scotia.
Windsor, Nova Scotia, and gee, we've had some good times there.
Oh yeah.
A little bit about the story behind Kings, the impact it's had in your life and the Long Pond, and how infamous it is in the hockey world.
Well, I couldn't overestimate the impact that Kings, what is now Kings Edgehill, and in my day was Kings College School, has had on my development as a person and in my career in hockey. I mean, I really got my start playing the sport at Kings Edgehill, and at that time I was essentially without parents from grade 8 through grade 12, and that school gave me the sort of structure and discipline and direction and the opportunity to play hockey every day of the week and to develop a love for the game that I've never lost. So, Long Pond, to be frank, Long Pond, I don't believe ever froze over while I was there. And if it did, we didn't get much chance to use it. But the arena in those days in Windsor probably had worse ice than Long Pond, but we still made use of it. And the roots in Windsor go very deep. My grandfather came from that town, and my great grandfather was from just outside there in Mount Denson. So long roots back to the area. The use of Long Pond and the role the school has had in helping develop sort of the story around Long Pond and the heritage for that area in our sport has been terrific. So it was fun to be there with Simmer. There's been some legendary stories from the odd visit to Long Pond, and I think at the age that I am now, and at the age I was when I played in that event with Simmer and others, just surviving it was probably an achievement.
It was surviving the Spitfire pub, actually, that was the key to the whole thing. Hey, last thing, Dave. Mark is one of the preeminent blind hockey players in Canada, has been on the national team for years. I don't know how much blind hockey you've seen. I know you've probably seen some sledge, but if you get an opportunity to expose yourself to some of this as the deaf playing population grows, blind hockey grows, it's pretty amazing stuff. And I know you're probably excited to see this stuff grow moving forward.
I am, for sure. And, I remember doing an interview with you guys in Toronto in support of blind hockey a number of years ago. And have had the opportunity to witness sledge hockey up close and personal between the U.S. and Canada. And I can tell you that, as you know, those are hard-fought games and really talented teams and an incredibly difficult sport. And it's been something that I've taken a lot of interest in since the time I got involved with the foundation and got to meet some of the athletes and attend some of the games. It's been terrific. So I hope the same is ahead for blind hockey.
Dave, as always, a pleasure. We wish you the best moving forward, and good luck with the executive work and the board work with the Hockey Canada Foundation and everything else you got going. Best to you and the family.
Great. Thanks, Simmer. Thanks, Mark.
Always a joy, always enlightening to speak to Mr. Dave Andrews, Demo.
And to also, it sounds like, spend some time with him in Windsor, Nova Scotia.
Yes, a few pints at the old Spitfire pub. Good stuff, good stuff. We have, besides Dave Andrews, in upcoming editions on this little program, John Cooper, defending Stanley Cup champ, head coach of the Tampa Bay Lightning. John Shannon, who's a longtime broadcast executive, on-air personality in the business around North America, for that matter. And Jim Kite, the first ever deaf hockey player in the National Hockey League. We're covering all the bases, Demo, and where are we doing it? We're doing it on the what?
On the Courage Hockey Show, presented by the Hockey News and Sports Illustrated.
Closing credits for the Courage Hockey Show. Mark DeMontis, co-host and executive producer. Rob Simpson, co-host and narrator. Nico Cardarelli, producer and director. Francisco Grajales, editor, graphics, camera operator, and audio. Taylor Gordon, camera operator and audio. Special thanks to David Andrews, guest, Scotiabank Pond, Jason Branco and staff, the Hockey News and Sports Illustrated. All on-location filming was within strict adherence to COVID-19 protocols set for television productions. The Courage Hockey Show is brought to you by ParaSport TV.